I guess it's What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Simply Tyler Films. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and this is the first time I've had someone from the opposite or the opposing team on the channel to talk ball. This is a thing I'm going to try to do more of. My first reach out was to Quincy because we've done this before. I'm familiar with him. He's familiar with me, and I know that he's pretty much going to say yeah, if time permitted. And so I'm going to try to do more of this, but this is the first one of this year. And if you don't know Quincy Carrier, he's a Browns YouTuber. Doing a great job over there. And I just told him some of the ideas that I've gotten from him. Now I don't just steal them. I'd be like, hey Q, I'm gonna rob and borrow this, and be like, go ahead, coach. So they work well for me.
So everybody just be stealing ideas and taking them and everything. I don't even be feeling no way about it. I'm like, that's just how the game is, man.
Exactly. Recently I posted something, and then somebody else basically had a show about the same time. I'm like, golly, but then I had to think about what you just said. This internet. Whatever's gonna get people to watch, and sometimes the hot topics are the hot topics.
And you think about it, like, oh, when you post something up, that's the time it come out, but somebody ain't gonna see that video until like 8, 9 o'clock maybe. Like, it's up to YouTube when they see it. Exactly. So I just try to always keep in mind you gotta play both games, the immediate game and the long game on the internet, and you just gotta go by its own pace.
Got it. So people, you see that timer on the screen, and like I said a minute ago to Quincy, that's the most I'm going to take of his time. I'm going to try to get this out before then. So we're going to dive right into it. And I got some questions for him, and then we'll have conversation, based off the answers that he give. And I took my time writing these questions too at work. I put them jits to work, and I took my time writing these questions today because I wanted it to be as good of a conversation as possible. Because that's what these things are. When they're a good conversation, they turn out to be good videos. And I feel like this is a wealth of knowledge over there. Again.
So you gave them extended response questions, what I mean?
Long, with the question mark, no blanks.
Oh yeah. I want them paragraphs typed.
Exactly. So we'll dive into this
too. It's the test.
Hey, the thing with me is my test is you never know what's gonna be on my test. I might just pull a rabbit out the hat, but you got to do the leg work because if you don't, then you're gonna be screwed.
Absolutely.
Right. So, especially what we do in personal finance too, because it's mandatory in the state of Florida now. And so I'm just trying to help them. If you can pick up one or two concepts from what I do, you'll be better off than most of us because a lot of us had to learn the hard way. We had to get in debt to learn how to not, further go do it. And so if you can take 4 or 5 concepts, budgeting or, what it takes to rent to get an apartment or to buy a house or to buy a car and do that the right way, you'll be better off, early in your 20s than whether you fighting that credit card debt. Because like I told them the first day, once you go to college, they're gonna throw them credit cards at you left and right.
Oh yeah,
they ain't gonna say no.
Learn 3 letters, APR.
Yep.
What is interest rate? They're gonna try to trick you with 3 different numbers too. Like, is that the third? You gonna be like, what's this $70 charge? Oh, that's interest, right there.
They asked when we was doing the APR stuff, what the interest rate. They was like, well, why is 3 numbers when I looked up this credit card? Because the small number to get you. The big number is what it really is.
The small number when you don't owe nothing on the card.
Right.
You don't ever pay that one.
So they call it the introductory offer. That's what that is. But let's get into some football. And again, the Ravens playing the Browns this Sunday. And we know the Browns got a really good defense. Offense is struggling a little bit, but we're gonna get into that. So the Ravens are favored by 8.5 points. What do you think is the biggest reason that led to that? Because in betting, that's a wide margin. And we ain't blew y'all out. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, we've lost 3 of the last 4. Is that correct?
That is correct. I do think that this is a different bit of a beast here with the Cleveland Browns right now.
Okay.
And the reason I think the Ravens are favored by 8 points, yes, it has to do with the Ravens surging and playing good football recently or playing better football recently. But for me, it's like this Browns offense, it's just incapable of putting together a complimentary performance. Even the one time that they did do a little bit of complimentary football, it was more opportunistic football, right? The Browns defense got a lot of turnovers, put the ball in scoring position for the Browns offense, and then they scored touchdowns off of that to give them credit for it. But it wasn't like they were driving 70-yard drives, moving the ball consistently. And I think that's been a huge problem, is that this Browns offense can't find a way to move the ball consistently. They don't stay ahead of the sticks, which is a huge problem when you're a bad offense, because you can't dig yourself out of it when you're a bad offense. And they are capital P predictable, right? Like the Browns are not really going to throw much at you. I think this week is an especially bad matchup for them because of how they have to play versus what the Ravens' weaknesses are. We're not really going to expose a lot of those. Like, I make my jokes about Roquan Smith all the time, by the way. Shout out to the
right on time.
Growing out here in Baltimore. But the reality is like, we don't have the ability to force the Baltimore Ravens to spread things out or to put Roquan Smith in the kind of space where he's going to be a liability as a pass defender, or where you can kind of get him out the run play because you can counter away from him and really move his gravity away. You don't have that option. You're going to play with condensed looks all game because you want to feed the box and put protection around the quarterback and be able to run the ball. So you're going to have a bunch of guys on the line of scrimmage. That's going to mean, especially for like guys like Kyle Hamilton, guys like Roquan Smith, who don't have the long speed, right, but do have the quickness still, they're going to be able to cover multiple responsibilities in one play and basically double their impact. Like, I think there's a reason why Roquan had the one game where he looked like that guy again against the Browns, right? And they didn't propose enough problems to be able to get him out of that. Kyle Hamilton being on the line of scrimmage now is going to create a lot of issues here. So I'm not optimistic about how the Browns offense is going to look this week. So yeah, I think that's a huge part of why Vegas has that 8-point spread. And honestly, you said that, and I know that's a big spread, but I was like, wow, I thought it'd be higher than that.
Well, the over and under is 40.5.
Dog. Like, we lost to the Jets, and they got 14 receiving yards from receivers in that game. Like, they only threw, they had a 44-yard screenplay. So Justin Fields had 50-something yards in that game. 44 of those yards went to a screenplay to Breece Hall. It was a touchdown. The other yards were like split between a wide receiver and a tight end. They had like 14 receiving yards to wide receivers and tight ends in their game, and we lost. That's just how it's been for this team. If it's not the offense, then it'd be the defense, then it'd be the special teams. They're doing all the bad team stuff right now.
Gotcha. 40 and a half over and under. I don't think we get to that number. Do you?
Do you think the Ravens going to score 40?
Because of the matchup, like your defense versus our offense is I keep telling people that's not going to be a pushover because their defense come to play. But then our defense versus your offense, I just don't think we'll get to 40 as a total.
I think what's likely, like if Dillon starts turning the ball over, then it has a chance to hit, because then that's where it starts to pile on. I think y'all got to 40 against us last game, right? Because we had the special teams snafus, and then we had interceptions in that game as well. So if it starts to go ugly like that, then yeah, I think the over is in trouble there. But if this is just a straight up game, Dillon doesn't throw a bunch of interceptions, which I thought he did a decent enough job not putting the ball in too much trouble last week. Everybody's sick and tired of him at this point, and it ain't even his fault at this point. They just want to see Shedeur. But yeah, it's just what it is with him. If he doesn't turn the ball over, then the Browns offense is going to probably put up like 10 points in this one. The Ravens are going to be held to about maybe 24. Like I would say 24-10 seems like a reasonable number. This is also going to be one of them games where it's going to be close. Like the first half is going to be like 9-3. right? Like 9-3, and then we're gonna get to the third quarter, and we're like, all right, we need a score, and then the Ravens gonna get a break, they're gonna score, and then it's gonna start to feel out of hand, and then that's when the roof comes off, right?
So let me ask you this question: what can the Browns do to even, I'm gonna say, potentially win the game, or win the game? What needs to happen for them to win the game?
One, they have to be super opportunistic. So, like, there are going to be opportunities there. And for this team, offensively and defensively, there have been opportunities to change every game that they played in, but they've not been a good team in taking advantage of those opportunities. So that's the first thing, right? If the Ravens turn the ball over, you got to score a touchdown off of it, right? If Derrick Henry fumbles the ball, you got to recover it, right? Like, that's the kind of stuff that they have not been opportunistic on this season, that they have to find more ways to live up to those opportunities. They also have to be competent on special teams. It's just such a strange run with special teams. Our kicker was stinking to begin, and he stopped stinking, and all of a sudden our kick coverages are terrible. Just one thing if it's not the other, right? Like, they got to play complementary football. The defense has to get turnovers, because the reality is, if we want to keep up with the offense that has a quarterback, we're going to need heavy assistance from the defense when it comes to putting the ball in scoring position for this offense, because they're not going to be able to do it by themselves. I'm going to give up the dream that this team's going to have like 4 or 5 scoring drives in the game. It ain't happening, right? It ain't happened all year. It's probably not going to happen. So that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a great effort from the defense, and then it's going to take a strong complementary, opportunistic effort for the Browns offense. Right. Is that something they could capitalize on? Maybe. They're not like, the Browns aren't a untalented team. Like, they're much better talent wise than their record, right? They're one of those teams that kind of like bother teams that are in the position that Baltimore's in, because it's like playing, like, I was talking about this with like Penn State and like South Carolina right now, where I'm like, those are two teams that, like, if you're a good team, you don't want to play because they stink, but they good though. They can be good any given week.
The potential is there for both of them.
Yeah, like, the Browns could just like wake up one day and just be like, oh yeah, Quinshon's running well. They're not making the mistakes. The offense is moving smooth. Kevin looks like he's a good coach again. And then Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, it's like playing the Browns 2 years ago. But that's just the consistency has been a problem with this team. And honestly, it hasn't really even been consistent. We've been consistently right? Being able to play up to what that talent is this year. And my faith in the coaching staff's ability, especially on offense, to get that out this team, and put the right pieces in place is where I don't really think it's going to happen.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned Myles Garrett a second ago. Any names on that defense? And I have one in my brain that has shocked me lately, that like could be a breakout game for that person defensively.
See, you guys got some pretty veteran guys in the interior, that offensive line, for the most part. Like, I know you guys play some guys. Well, you got Linderbaum at center, right?
Yeah, the mother two.
Yeah. So I'm wondering how Mason Graham's going to match up, but I imagine that you probably spend a guard on him. It depends on the week, but Alex Wright and Isaiah McGuire have been putting together good stuff. Carson Schlesinger, I think he's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Right? Yeah, linebacker out of UCLA, really good player there. Tyson Campbell is in a better position to succeed because he's not being asked to be your best corner like he was in Jacksonville. He's just asked to be number 2. Well, really number 3, because the first thing line of defense for this secondary is the defensive line for this football team. And then you have Denzel Ward, and then you have Tyson Campbell. So that helps out. I think Ronnie Hickman's been playing some good football too recently. So there's a lot of guys that are playing well. I thought Mason Graham had an excellent game last week. He showed flashes as a pass rusher. I think a 30% win rate last week. And he's had his flashes as a run stuffer as well. I think the recipe's there for him to be a really good player, especially when you're doing that as a rookie, as a defensive tackle, one of those positions where it takes forever, right? For a guy to really hit his stride, right? Like, not Matabuke, right? It took a couple of years for him to really like hit his stride. So, that's a really encouraging sign there. Let's see. I hope I'm not forgetting. Devin Bush has played. He was really good to start the season. He's kind of fallen off a little bit as of late. And Grant is really good some weeks. Some weeks he's not really there as much as you want him to be there, but still somebody you got to account for.
Right. And the guy I was thinking about was Graham because of I know he played well last week, and I know our deficiencies are at the guard position. So I feel like if he can get some one-on-one blocks with our guards, he has the potential to be a wrecker. And I feel like there's no way he don't get one-on-ones with that mutant that y'all have on the defensive line. Graham will get one-on-ones, your other end will get one-on-ones, and other tackles get one-on-ones. I think Collins kind of hurt us the first game, I think.
Yeah, Malik Collins was killing in the first game. It's gonna be interesting too, because I know I feel like from what my interactions with Sonny, seems like Baltimore don't like that Falele guy, right?
Nobody does.
Seems like he was. I remember watching him at the Senior Bowl, and Myles Sanders bull rushed him, and I was like, "Oh no, nah." Myles Sanders like 250. I'm like, "How you getting bull rushed?" Nah, that was out. I was out right there on Falele.
I'm gonna break this to you that I've never told anybody, but everybody about to know now. I know somebody that played with him in college, and I asked him about it, and they was like, "Coach, you just big." And I've been sitting on this for about 3 or 4 years that they told me that. And they're like, "Coach, you just big."
Yeah.
That's it.
I was immediately my first impression, because you look at him, you go, "Oh, it's a big dude. Let's see what he do." Myles Sanders from Cincinnati put them two in his chest and moved them, and I'm like, it says something to me that he thought he could try that day one. Like, wow, he just went at the chest. Like, that's crazy.
Now, the elephant in the room is Dylan versus Shedeur. Now, I follow it from afar, so I ain't like on it every day, like you are. What do you think is the reason like he is not getting a chance, and do you think he will ever even get a chance?
I think he will. I think this Baltimore game is probably going to get Dylan benched, if I'm being honest here. Like, I think the matchups it's going to lead to some interceptions. He throws another 2-3 interception game. They're going to have to make a move eventually. And I think Shedeur gets in. I think part of the reason why Dylan's in is, the coach wanted Dylan more than he wanted Shedeur, right? I think that's just what it is. They valued him more than they value Shedeur for whatever reason there, right? From what I hear, the pre-draft workouts and the pre-draft routine was excellent from Dillon Gabriel. They felt like they needed to draft him in the 3rd round with their last pick, their Amari Cooper pick, to beat the Dolphins to him, and that's the guy that they wanted to invest the pick in. Shedeur was more of a, he's still there. Like, let's go take a flyer on him, right? The way I look at this for the Browns is, you remember there were years where the Browns were carrying like Josh Rosen on the roster, or when we carried Tyler Huntley, or
wait. They got a victory this year.
Yeah, Snoop Huntley. Like I'm saying, like Andrew Berry tends to like survey around, and he's like, "Hey, if I think somebody is sitting around that could have value in the future, I'm gonna pick them up as a project and then try to ship them off and get some picks for it later," right? And I think that's kind of what he saw with Shedeur, was like, "Hey, this is a guy who had some 1st round hype. Maybe we keep him here, incubate him for a year, maybe let him play if things get to it. Maybe somebody wants to send us a 4th for him next year, and we can make money off the deal," right? Like, I think that's kind of how they view it. It's more in that Kellen Mond kind of like flyer deal, but the fans view it in the completely opposite sense, because like a lot of people spend a lot of time telling you that that's like a top 5 quarterback in this draft class. Now, I never said such things. I always felt like he was more day 2, right? Like, and me personally, I didn't think even Cam Ward was a day 1 pick. But everybody else disagrees, so I just had to hold my breath on that, much like I did on my Roquan slander until the last few years. But I'm looking out, and I'm like, looks warm outside on those 2 takes now. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think the fan base feels like there's a good chunk of them that feel like, oh, Shedeur, in their mind, is still like, I call it a temporarily embarrassed first round pick to them, right? Like, you know, how like people like are temporarily embarrassed millionaires for a minute when they want to like do different things against certain things. But with Shedeur, it feels like they feel like he's like a first round pick that should be, and that's why they want him out there. I do question, like, if he's not making the Browns sweat about a quarterback change right now internally, like, I have to imagine it's not a great set of news behind the scenes, because like I know people are like, oh, well, they don't want to play him, they committed to Dylan, but a coach is a coach. The coach want to win, and if a coach sees somebody that can help them win, like I know some coaches are stubborn, but if it's looking that drastic right behind the scenes, they aren't just going to sit on that, right? Or at least you would hope they wouldn't sit on that. And if they were, players going to start talking. And that's the thing that's been surprising to me, is that, like, you know, usually Josina out there like dropping the bomb. She's hinted at a couple of things. She owned it, boy. She's hinted at a couple of things, but you know, I was there when the Odell thing broke out, and she was like writing articles with unnamed sources in them, right? That hasn't happened. And I thought that was strange that we didn't get that article from the bye week of like, oh, the Browns are fed up with how Kevin's not playing Shedeur. And you know, they watch him in scout team every week, right? They watch him take them number 2 reps every week. And it might be a situation where they're like, I don't know, it don't look right, you know? So we'll see what ends up happening out there with Shedeur. It's a mystery box. It could be good. It could be bad. But I would really urge people to wait before they make their declarations one way or the other. Because right now, I think so many expectations have been set for Shedeur that it's going to be impossible for him to live up to.
Agreed. Now, this sounds like our situation with the O-lineman. Because we, like you said, we're fed up with Falele. We don't know what's behind Falele. That's kind of sounds like what you're saying. Like they see what's going on in practice every day with whoever the backup guards are. And I feel like, and this is probably just the fan in me, that at least let me see what's behind Falele before, and so I can make up my mind. Because if they suck, they suck. At least I know, hey, we done seen it, y'all tried it, but it's too much unknown behind Falele, and it sounds like that outside of the coaching staff, that there's things that he maybe not doing or maybe not liking, that they not putting him in, because at some point you still had a chance to be successful this year. And now it's like you ain't tanking, but you in a position where your best player is visibly frustrated by end results. Because if I go out there and get 5 sacks and we still lose that way, I'm throwing more than my helmet.
Not just lose, dog. You got pulled out with 2 minutes left because it was over, right? Like, that's what it was. Yeah, like, I don't think they want it to be this bad, right? Or want it to be this frustrating. And they're certainly aware of the problems on offense. I have to imagine, because like the one thing I will give them credit on, where everybody last year was like, you got to bench Deshaun Watson to put DTR in. And they were like, look, guys, I promise you it's worse. It was. Now, Jameis, I thought, ended up being a little bit better than Deshaun. So I don't know where they sat on that. But yeah, it's like, it's a tough situation because the coaching staff doesn't really have the benefit of the doubt of the fan base anymore. And the fan base really wants to see Shedeur. And at this point, I see, like, you could bench Dylan and play him again later in his career. Just see what Shedeur has at this point. But, you know, after this game, I think you throw him in this game, any spark you get is probably going to be snuffed out, because Kyle Hamilton waiting for him to come into the game, right? Like, you know what I mean? And I done seen to put in a hype rookie against a division opponent. I know what that turns into. A lot of dudes on the defensive line mocking your famous celebration. They can't wait to break out that wristwatch. They gonna be up there. Yeah. Everybody bust down my AP. Like, it's gonna be, they can't wait. Like, you perfect just gonna time, raises. Roquan gonna get in on it. Like, I'm gonna be just like, all right, man, why we even set him up for this? So maybe next week versus the Raiders would be a better landing spot. If we get past if we get past like into December and he still hasn't played, then either he is really, really bad, or the coaching staff is like truly on trash.
Right.
Like,
Got to be.
yeah.
And I really thought after the showing last week that this would be the game Shedeur like at potentially maybe got in. But hearing you say that y'all play the Raiders next, and no disrespect to the Raiders, I do understand because their defense ain't they got Max, but their defense as a whole ain't like to write home for.
And it's
So
not a division opponent, right? Like the
yeah, that
Ravens
too.
are going to be super familiar with what the Browns are going to do. And throwing a rookie out there in a situation where they're more experienced people on this offense are on the other side of the ball, this is never really a great situation to do, right? You want to at least give somebody a game or two before you throw them into a division play, even if you don't think that they're going to be that good, right? You know, you don't want to throw a kid into, like, I remember the Cardinals threw Clayton Tune out there.
Oh,
in 2023 against Myles Garrett, and I was like, ooh, his career's over before it started. Like, you know, he had no shot. Like, so yeah, you know, I don't want to throw him out there this week, but maybe next week if we get down the line, like if we get past that Tennessee game and he ain't playing, I'm like, all right, well, something's funky.
What week is that?
That is, I think, the beginning of December. So I think in like 3 weeks.
Right after Thanksgiving, basically.
Yeah, right after Thanksgiving.
We'll end on this one, and I really like this kid. I just want you to kind of tell me like his projection with the Browns, Judkins.
Oh, Quinshon. Yeah, that was a great projection by them because how he ran at Ohio State is not how he runs in the NFL.
Right.
I'm not super familiar with how he ran at Ole Miss, but he's a much more patient running back than I think a lot of people anticipated him coming out of college. Yeah, I like him. He's everything I want a running back to be, right? Physical, can be patient, but finish runs with punishment. I think he's learning the balance of waiting versus going, right? Like sometimes you're just looking at Quinshon like, hey, bro, it's first down. Just get the 5 yards, right? Like, just go ahead. We don't need you to break one off. So I think the pressure, the offense being bad is something that he's having a hard time kind of putting on his back right now, and it's affected his yards per carry numbers. But the fact that he's able to break out as many chunk plays as he does at the running back position with this offensive line, which has not been producing well, I think says a lot about who he is. The fact that he can still get the corner at his size says a lot about what his skill set is. I mean, like, look, Browns fans haven't complained about Nick Chubb all year, and Nick Chubb's one of the best running backs I've ever seen play, right? And that's how good Quinshon has been. They were high on him when he got into the building. People were saying that they felt really confident about him being a Nick Chubb replacement. And I remember hearing it thinking like, that's crazy talk. Then he got in first game, almost got 100 yards versus the Ravens.
So that was game 3, right?
Yeah, game 3, just fresh off the street. Like it was pretty impressive. And it's been like that for him his entire time here in Cleveland. So yeah, they definitely got something there with Quinshon, because like I don't think there's a lot of running backs around the league that can almost be on pace for 1,000 yards right now, given how predictable the Browns offense is and, you know, how one-dimensional they are and how easy they are to attack. I mean, they're going against like 80% stacked boxes the last few weeks. So, yeah, Quinshon, very excited about him. Had his issues in the offseason. Hopefully that is going to be handled for him going forward, you know, and he's one of those guys, right? Those juice guys on the sidelines where he's all hyped up, ready to get guys charged up, you know, wanting to win, you know, sometimes a little bit too much, but I like that in the player, right? So, you know, and he got that crazy in him, which I always prefer in the running back, right? He ran somebody over and then ran 10 yards to his homeboy and said, "You next." One time. And I'm like, all right, that's the kind of crazy you need at that position. Sometimes, you know, you need somebody who go crash out a little bit.
I agree 100%. So got 2 minutes left. So I appreciate you for coming through. And I know most of Ravens fans know where they can find your stuff because some of them like to troll. I don't troll because I ain't set up for the what's called I start cursing and talking about folks. So I don't go and troll other people. So
see, when the Browns are bad, they don't troll me. They actually be appreciated, right? They be like, oh man, I actually like your stuff, even though you a Browns person. Keep doing what you're doing. When the Browns are bad, that's how it be. This how I know when the Browns be good. I get the messages, oh, you think you can beat Baltimore? You think you big and bad? Like, that's when the trolling starts, is when the Browns are actually good. That's always my barometer.
So right now, it's a big kumbaya.
Yeah, when we think, it's like, oh, I hope y'all get better soon. But if we get a quarterback and a wide receiver in the draft, and all of a sudden we start looking a little bit different next season, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, this guy's delusional. He thinks the Ravens can't beat the Browns. What is he talking about? Right now, it's like, I saw a Raven fan on one of the videos. I did it with the homie Engraving, and I was like, I titled the video, "Can the Browns do the upset?" Mind you, I don't believe they could do the upset, right? And somebody was in there like, you know what? I respect the optimism. And it was a Ravens account. I'm like, yeah, this is where we at.
What is the internet thing? Crazy, ain't it?
People have funny tendencies on the internet, man. Funny tendencies.
But again, I appreciate you. So Q, you can follow me at and what's the actual channel name? Is it Worst Take? Because I pulled this from your channel.
Quincy Carrier. I don't even do the Worst Take series anymore. It's just
I won't put that up there no more.
It's all good. It's all good.
And also the AFC Roundup, the original AFC Roundup.
Oh yeah.
Him, Sonny. Who else on there with you? Is it
Sam? Ace and Tony.
Oh, Ace and Tony. Yeah, Ace and Tony. Sam's on the other.
We had to replace a Steeler guy.
Gotcha. Go. So go over there and check them out if you don't already know. And again, I appreciate you for coming through, Q. And we are on the countdown right on time. 3, 2, 1. And we out this thing. Peace, y'all.